My beloved child, this is the moment heaven has chosen to open a completely new chapter in your life, a chapter that only those who keep their souls awake can perceive. From the instant the first light touched the earth, your name was spoken at the gates of heaven. That echo was not merely a call, it was an affirmation that every silent prayer, every hidden tear, and every battle fought in solitude has been lifted to the throne of the Most High. And from that place, a message has been sent forth, one carried by the Archangel Michael himself, preparing to proclaim what your soul has long awaited. Today is a holy day, not simply because the sun has risen, but because a promise is being fulfilled. Though you may not yet realize it, a miracle is quietly drawing near, not with noise or spectacle, but like a gentle breeze brushing against the heart, like a drop of dew falling upon a thirsty desert. You may not recognize it right away, but if you pause, if you listen closely, you will begin to see the signs blooming all around you. A sudden phrase, a warm glance, a fleeting wind, all are whispering the same message. The time has come. My child, I know you have waited through weariness, through nights that seemed endless. When faith was tested to its limits, you have often asked, Lord, how much longer? And each time, I was there, not silent, but preparing you for what you were not yet ready to receive. Just as a seed must endure the darkness of the soil before reaching the light, so too must you walk through the path of endurance and refinement, that your soul might grow deep and tender enough for the blessing I am about to give. Do not think the years behind you were in vain. No tear has fallen without heaven taking note. No pain has escaped my touch. Every wound you have carried, every time you fell, every door that closed and seemed like an ending, all were preludes to the miracle now taking shape. You have not been abandoned. You have been molded. You have not been forgotten. You have been prepared. And now, as the call from heaven resounds, you are invited into a new season, one where faith becomes reality, and the prayers of the past become living testimony to the power of God. Stay with me, child, for what I am about to reveal will carry you from one wonder to the next. Do not listen only with your ears, listen with your soul. For today, I do not speak to your mind, but to the deepest part of your being, where light and shadow have wrestled, where faith and doubt have contended. Let my words sink into that place, like a spring finding its way to the hidden well. From this moment on, you are no longer who you were. A sacred movement has begun within your spirit. It may come softly, like a breath, but its power will reshape the course of your life. From now on, you will no longer walk by your own striving, but by grace. Every step you take, every person you meet, every word you speak, all will be aligned with the order of heaven. Every coincidence that follows will not be random. They are the links in the chain of a divine plan written for you long before you came to be. You once longed for a sign, a success, a true joy that would make you smile again. But now, what I give is far greater. It is transformation from within. For I do not wish merely to change your circumstances. I wish to change you. A healed heart will see the world through different eyes. A grateful soul will turn ordinary things into sacred wonders. And a mind illumined by truth will turn even pain into a song of praise. Look around you, child, the small things are already shifting. One door closes, yet beyond it lies a new beginning. Someone departs, yet grace steps in to take their place. A dream that once seemed shattered is being reborn in another form, purer and in perfect time. God never takes away without intending to give back 100-fold. When He prunes, it is not to wound, but to make you bloom. When He is silent, it is not from distance, but to give your faith the space to mature. My beloved child, believe this. Today is the day of transformation. A heavenly plan is unfolding, and your name is written at its center, not among thousands, but chosen individually. Everything you have been through, the wounds, the disappointments, the longings, has been preparation for this moment. When the soul is ready, the door opens by itself. And when you step through, you will realize that every winding path was, in truth, the road leading you to grace. You do not need to try to predict what comes next. Do only one thing: keep your heart tender. A hardened heart cannot feel the wind of the Spirit. A closed mind cannot hear the whisper of heaven. Let everything slow down. Do not run, do not strive, do not fear. Simply be still and know that I am your God. The silence of faith is stronger than all the cries of fear. If you feel the wind shifting, do not be alarmed. It is the sign that I am guiding your vessel into new waters. If you see familiar things slowly drift away, do not cling to them. For sometimes, in order for you to fly, I must remove the old wings that have grown too small. And if your heart trembles, know that it is the natural response of the soul when it touches the sacred. From this moment on, see everything through the eyes of faith. Every event, every person, every challenge, they are all messengers carrying my message. Ask, Lord, what do you want me to learn from this? When you ask that question, you will begin to see miracles arise within the most ordinary of moments. A falling petal, a passing encounter, a fleeting dream, all have their own voice, whispering the same truth: God is near. And when that miracle comes, my child, do not be afraid. Do not doubt your worth. Do not ask, am I deserving? For grace is not measured by worthiness. It is measured by love. You were chosen not because you are flawless, but because your heart still believes, even after being broken. It is your faithfulness in solitude, your tears in silence, your prayers unheard by others. These are what move heaven. And today, the gates of heaven open, not because you are strong enough, but because you have remained steadfast in belief. Receive this day as a sacred hymn written especially for your soul. Walk in peace, for what is coming is not meant to frighten you, but to fulfill an ancient promise. Even if your eyes cannot yet see, heaven is moving. Even if you do not yet understand, grace is already descending. Everything is being arranged perfectly: right person, right time, right place. Keep your heart in stillness, for the door you have been waiting for is about to open, not with noise, but with a gentle shift so subtle that only those who listen with their soul will perceive it. That moment will not be a coincidence. It will be the result of every prayer, every tear, every pain you have lifted up. When the door opens, light will pour in, not only to illuminate the room around you, but to shine into the deepest chambers of your soul, where old wounds, confusion, and forgotten memories once hid. And it is there that God will place His hand to turn sorrow into peace, tears into renewal, loneliness into sacred communion. You have waited long, my child, so long that at times you thought hope was lost. But what you did not see was that heaven never ceased to move. Each prayer you uttered, each time you chose love over bitterness, each moment you rose after falling, these were the heartbeats that shaped the flow of the miracle. Now you stand at the threshold of fulfillment, of harmony, of the light you have yearned for. Your waiting has never been in vain. It has been used to mold your soul clear enough, deep enough, wide enough to receive the gift heaven has prepared for you. Heaven does not delay, my child. In that realm, there is no such thing as lateness. Everything unfolds precisely at the moment when your soul and the divine plan of God meet in perfect alignment. The days that seem silent are, in truth, the days when the soil is being tilled in preparation for the season of blooming. Every delay is but God's way of whispering to you, wait a little longer, I am doing something better. Therefore, do not let your heart grow weary. Even when you see nothing, countless angels are moving, opening paths, arranging circumstances, preparing the way for your dream to touch the earth. Archangel Michael is right here within your breath, within the rhythm of your heartbeat. He is not only a protector but a warrior of light, sent to clear away the fog that has long veiled your vision. He is pushing back the shadows, loosening the unseen chains that once bound you in fear, doubt, or disbelief in God's promise. He speaks to you in a language only the soul can comprehend. Do not fear, for you have been chosen. You are not lost. Every path has led you here to a very place where the glory of God shall be revealed in your life. This day, my child, is not an ordinary day. It has been written in the heavenly record long before you were born. The light that shines today is not merely the light of the sun, but the light of a fulfilled promise. Every movement around you, the singing of birds, the wind brushing the grass, the sunlight pouring through the window, is the silent celebration of the universe, welcoming you into a new season of grace. Your name has been written in light, sealed with the mark of heaven, and surrounded by the prayers of the saints. No force, not even the powers of darkness, can steal this day from your hands. My beloved, keep your heart steadfast. Do not wander away, not even in doubt or fear, for if you stay long enough, the miracle will come. God does not arrive when you are restless, but when you are ready to believe without needing proof. Before this day ends, says Michael, you will feel the movement of God not with your eyes, but with your soul. It may come as a gentle breeze upon your cheek, a tender thought that warms your heart, or an unexpected encounter that fills you with peace. But you will know beyond all doubt that God has just touched you. Imagine this, my child. On an ordinary morning, as you go about your daily tasks, something shifts in the air. A soft light, a subtle calmness, a deep knowing within whispers, something magnificent is unfolding. That is how heaven works, not through noise, but through the quiet elegance of small things. It is in the most ordinary moments that the extraordinary is revealed. When you lift your gaze, everything may look the same, yet your soul will know it has stepped into another reality, one overflowing with blessings. The little things you once dismissed, a word spoken, a meeting by chance, a falling petal suddenly become signs. What seemed hidden for so long will be unveiled. Doors once closed will open in light, and the things that were lost, believed to be gone forever, will be returned, not as they were, but renewed, purified, and filled with greater meaning. For this is how God works. He does not restore the old. He makes all things new. You will remember this day, a day without thunder, without trumpets, yet powerful enough to shake the entire world within you. A day that, when you look back, you will say, it was then that everything changed, not outwardly, but inwardly, where faith was reborn, where peace was restored, where you rediscovered yourself in the light of God. My beloved child, your season of silence has ended. The seed has spent enough time in darkness. Now it will pierce through the soil to meet the light. Every unanswered prayer of yours has not been forgotten. They are all blossoming together in the appointed season I have ordained. The season of blessing, of unveiling, of new beginnings has arrived. And that chapter of grace begins today, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, in the very breath you are taking. From now on, my child, each day will carry a different meaning. The things you once feared will become witnesses of my faithfulness. The sorrows that once made you weep will become the soil where grace takes root. You will no longer see the world through the old eyes of the past, but through the vision of a soul that has once touched heaven. And then, you will understand that no moment is ever lost, no waiting ever in vain, and no suffering ever without a sacred purpose hidden within it. Michael stands beside you, his wings cloaking your soul like a mantle of light. He is calming, guarding, and clearing the path ahead so that joy may come without hindrance. Every worry, every fear, every remnant of the old self that once held you captive, he gathers them all and breathes them away in the wind of the heavenly hosts. For he knows that you no longer belong to the shadows of the past, but to the radiant light of your new destiny. My child, open your heart and say, Lord, I am ready. When you speak these words, you do not merely declare faith, you unlock the door of miracles. It is the door heaven has long awaited for you to touch, and when it opens, light will flood in, carrying joy, healing, and a divine harmony unlike anything you have known. You will no longer seek God in distant places, for He dwells within you in every heartbeat, in every step, in every breath of grace. My beloved one, sit down and be still, for my words are not yet finished, and heaven continues to call your name. What began this morning is not just a new day, but the beginning of a magnificent journey heaven has prepared since before you were born. Every second, every minute, every breath you take carries a meaning deeper than you realize. Nothing that is happening now is by chance. No tear, no prayer, no breath of yours passes without being recorded in the realms above. Remain in my presence, for only when you stay long enough will you begin to see the wonder quietly unfolding in silence. My child, there are things the eyes cannot see, yet the soul perceives clearly. Around you now, angels of light are moving silent yet powerful like winds carrying commands from the throne of God. They surround your name, guarding, preparing, watching over every breath you take. In realms you have not yet set foot, your prayers, the whispered ones in the dark, the sobs you thought no one heard, rise like golden flames, burning bright before the Creator. No word is wasted, no breath forgotten. Believe this, today is not a coincidence. It is a day written long ago in the book of destiny, a book inscribed by the very fingers of God, where every line is a promise, every letter a ray from the eternal design. You may not see the whole page, but you are living within its story step by step, heartbeat by heartbeat, breath by breath. When I say to you, stay, it is not a request, but a sacred invitation to go deeper into the heart of life, to step closer into the encounter with the mystery God is weaving around you. There is a reason your heart trembles today. You feel something unusual, a gentle yet powerful vibration, as if the entire universe is whispering your name. That is the echo of Archangel Michael, bearing glad tidings from the throne of light. He stands beside you, his wings ablaze like fire, his sword shining with holy protection. Michael proclaims, O chosen soul, do not fear, you stand at the intersection of divine will. Everything you have endured was never random. Every wound you carry is being healed in the light. Something great is drawing near, and you are called to step into it with unshakable faith. My child, there are moments in life when time seems to pause, allowing heaven and earth to meet. This is that very moment. Heaven opens before you not through a loud event, but through the sacred stillness of peace. When your heart trembles, it is not anxiety, but your soul sensing the vibration of the higher realm. Do not silence it, do not analyze it, do not confine it to reason. Let it guide you, for this is how God speaks to you, not in words, but in presence. Everything unfolding today is part of a divine design. When you look around, you may feel as if you are standing alone at a crossroads, yet, in truth, you are surrounded by countless unseen hands. The angels are not watching from afar, they walk beside you, refining every detail, arranging every encounter, removing every obstacle, and whispering every guidance. There are things they are changing without your knowing, a door opening somewhere distant, a heart being touched, a small event quietly redirected to align with what you have prayed for. Heaven moves in silence, yet with perfect precision. My child, I know there are moments when you wonder, how can I know if I'm walking the right path? The answer lies in peace. When you are in my way, you will feel within yourself a stillness that defies the storms around you. That stillness is my sign. If your heart is unsettled, pause and listen again for my voice. But if there is gentleness in the wind, a glimmer of light in the darkness, a flicker of faith amid fear, then you will know that I am near. Beloved one, I do not promise the road will be easy, but I promise it will lead you to what your soul has longed for. Nothing you have lost is truly gone. Nothing you have waited for is truly delayed. Every door you thought was closed is opening on a deeper plane. Some miracles do not arrive with thunder, but drift in like a fragrance. They do not appear in the crowd, but in a quiet moment within the heart. And today, my child, that miracle is beginning to take shape. Remember, you are not called to understand everything, you are called to believe. Faith is not a light that reveals every step. It is the courage to walk in the dark, knowing my hand is guiding you. You once asked for certainty, but I have given you trust, for trust is what makes you strong. When you find yourself in a land of fog, close your eyes and say, Lord, I still follow you. In that moment, the heavens will move, and what seemed impossible will become possible. My child, what begins today is only the prelude. The transformation I am bringing into your life goes far beyond what you can imagine. Hearts that once wounded you will be changed. Doors once shut will open wide. Things that seemed lifeless will rise again. For when light touches, nothing remains old. I am renewing your soul, giving you the eyes of faith, the ears of wisdom, and the heart of compassion. I say to you, do not give up. Do not leave this path too soon. Just one more step, and you will reach the revelation that heaven has prepared especially for you. If you walk away now, you will miss the moment when all things come together, when the veil lifts, and you see that every pain had its purpose. Stay, keep your faith, burning like a lamp in the night, for dawn is nearer than you think. The trembling of your heart today is not from anxiety, but because heaven is touching it. You are standing in the hour where heaven meets earth, in a space the mind cannot grasp but the soul can feel. It is a sign that something great is coming, the very thing you prayed for, yet now multiplied with blessings you never thought to ask. So, my child, open your heart. Do not resist the new, do not fear the unfamiliar. Let me lead you through the threshold of miracles. Do not look back with regret, for where you are going cannot be compared to where you have been. Walk in wonder, for I have arranged for you to witness the marvel of my love in even the smallest details. Beloved one, know that I never leave you, not even when you think I am silent. In that silence, I am working more than ever. I am weaving a tapestry of light around your life, thread by thread, threads of sorrow, of joy, of faith, of forgiveness. When it is complete, you will see the grand design and understand that every fragment, every wound, had its place in the final glory. My beloved child, prepare your heart, for what is about to unfold will go beyond every boundary your mind has ever known. A meeting is drawing near, not by chance, not by coincidence, but through the perfect orchestration of the hand of God. A conversation, seemingly ordinary, will open like a gate leading your soul into a new realm. A sign, small as it may appear, will awaken you to the truth. No, this is not of human making. This is the work of heaven. And in that moment, you will realize that everything around you, every breath, every ray of light, every movement, is joining in harmony to play one sacred melody, the song of divine beginnings. My child, do not hurry. The shift has already begun, silent yet powerful, like an underground current rising from the depths of the earth. You may not yet see or hear it, but the heavens are trembling. The angels are moving through the space between intention and manifestation, between what you have prayed for and what is being granted. With each moment you remain in faith, the light of heaven expands around you. This is not the time to run after answers. It is the time to stand still in faith, for only in stillness can you feel the heartbeat of the divine pulsing in rhythm with your own. Archangel Michael, the warrior of light, stands at the threshold of your journey. His wings spread wide like a shield of protection, and the sword in his hand burns with a radiance that darkness cannot endure. He guards you not only from forces without, but also from barriers within, the cobwebs of doubt, the dust of fear, the invisible walls your mind has unknowingly built to hide its frailty. He cuts through every thread, every knot, every entanglement that has held your soul back, setting you free to step into the new chapter of light. Listen closely to his whisper, my child. Do not fear. These 2 words are not mere comfort, they are a command from heaven. Do not fear, for the promise still lives. Yes, the promise remains neither buried by time, nor dimmed by trial, nor vanished through delay. It lives, it breathes, it waits for the moment to rise again like dawn breaking through the night. You may think you have lost it, that the blessing has passed, but God has never forgotten. What you believed was gone has only been remade so that when it returns, it will be more beautiful, more complete, more enduring, wrapped now in peace, steeped in love, and strengthened by the faith you have gained through every season of trial. My child, have you ever paused to reflect that every delay is not punishment, but preparation? God is never late. He arrives at the precise moment when your soul is deep enough to receive fully what He intends to give. Waiting is not a sign of absence, but an act of love. Just as a jeweler will not hand over a gem until it gleams at its brightest, so God will not release great gifts until your heart is still enough to hold them. Every trial you have endured was His refining fire, so that today, when the blessing comes, you will see it not as a reward, but as proof of a journey woven by grace. The gift of this day, my child, is more than joy. It is evidence that heaven has heard every word you spoke, every breath you drew, every sorrow you hid. It is the seal of a covenant between you and God, not written in ink, but carved through tears, faithfulness, and the faith you kept when all else had fallen. When that blessing pours forth, you will understand that every silence, every detour, every day that seemed meaningless was part of the perfect design leading you here. My child, remain with me, for the presence of God is very near. Do not leave, do not rush, do not let your restless mind make you miss what is coming. When the evening shadows fall and the world grows quiet, you will sense something no words can describe: the touch of heaven. It may come in a gentle breeze, in a tender light through your window, in a warmth rising within you. But you will know, for your soul will tremble like a string struck by its true note. That is the moment when heaven and your heart become one. And I tell you this, no longer imprison yourself within small thoughts. Do not let reason, fear, or memory confine the reach of your spirit. You were not created to dwell in the cage of worry or guilt. You were made to soar, to shine, to reflect the glory of the one who made you. Believe that what is coming surpasses all you can imagine. Do not look back with regret, nor forward with fear. Look into the present, where I am with you, and where every promise is beginning to bloom. My beloved child, open your heart wide to receive. When God moves, He does not merely touch one part of your life, He touches it all. He does not simply heal a wound, He renews the whole being. He does not only return what you have lost, He gives you what you never dared to dream of. When He says, "Rise," the ground beneath your feet will shift to lift you up. When He declares, "I make all things new," every trace of the old within you will be washed clean, as the first rain of the season rinses the dust from the road. Imagine, my child, that tomorrow morning when you awaken, everything around you might look the same, yet the air will feel different, lighter, brighter, purer. Your soul will know that something has changed, even if your eyes cannot yet see it. For God will have touched you in the night quietly, tenderly, yet with a depth so profound that nothing will ever be the same again. And as the days unfold, you will begin to notice strange coincidences, unexpected opportunities, and encounters that seem ordinary but are filled with divine meaning. This is how heaven works, never loud or ostentatious, but gentle, precise, and perfect. Do not fear the changes that are coming. Do not resist the movements stirring within you. What feels like disruption is not chaos, it is rebirth. Every trembling is but a sign that the old shell is breaking so your soul may be free. Every loss is simply space being cleared so new blessings may enter. Every tear is water for the seed of faith growing within you. And when the harvest season arrives, you will understand why there had to be long nights, why there had to be rain, why there were stretches of silence. My beloved, take a deep breath. Let that breath bring you fully into the present moment, where grace overflows. Speak to me, not in grandeur, but in a soft whisper, Lord, I believe. And as you utter those words, the entire universe will respond. Every door will begin to tremble. The old will recede. A new stream of light will find you, for God has never stopped listening to you, and today, this very day, He is answering. My child, stand firm. A conversation is approaching, a door is opening, a sign is appearing, and you will know, with the fullness of your soul, that this is no earthly occurrence but the intervention of heaven itself. Do not be afraid, for the promise lives, and now it is taking form in your life. My beloved, I want you to understand that what is unfolding today is not merely a turning point, it is the dawn of a new era within your soul. The invisible threads God wove long ago are being rewoven, and all that was broken, misaligned, or lost in size is finding its rightful place once more. The relationships around you will be washed in grace, so that instead of pain, they become sources of peace. Those who once wounded you will now be seen through new eyes, the eyes that have learned to look with compassion, and within that gaze, healing will begin. Such gentleness does not come from your effort, but from God's touch, the one who knows how to heal through paths you could never imagine. Then you will see opportunities bloom around you like flowers after the rain. Doors, once tightly shut, will open not because you knocked, but because God placed the key in your hand long ago. Dreams you thought had faded will return in new form, matured, deeper, carrying the breath of heaven. Joy that once seemed gone will return, not as fleeting emotion, but as steadfast peace born of gratitude. You will smile, not because life has become easy, but because you have realized that even trials are signs of God's love. The tears you have shed in lonely nights, the prayers you thought were whispered into emptiness, they were never in vain. They soaked into the earth, and now that soil blooms. Every drop has been gathered by God, held in His palm, and turned into radiant gems. And now, as dawn breaks, those jewels reflect the light of salvation. The strength you carry today does not come from avoiding pain, but from walking through it with faith. Every sorrow of yours has now become a witness to God's faithfulness, a living testimony that there is no night so dark that He is not there, no tear so small that He does not wipe away. Today, my child, is unlike any other day. This is the day heaven calls your name. The hosts of angels rejoice, for the destiny written by God since eternity is beginning to unfold. Today, you do not walk merely as one who lives, but as one reborn. Everything around you, the light, the wind, even the breath of the earth, joins in a single declaration. Your time has come, and you will see. The smallest moment of this day may become the beginning of the greatest miracle of your life. Archangel Michael stands beside you, his eyes blazing like fire and his wings spreading wide across the heavens. He looks at you and declares, "This is the day you were born to belong." He does not speak of the day you entered the world, but of the day your soul awakens. For today, you are not merely living as a human on earth, but as a child who has recognized their divine calling, the calling to reflect light in a world still shrouded in darkness. Michael raises his luminous sword, not to battle against you, but to clear the path before you, cutting through the invisible chains that have bound your soul in fear, insecurity, and limitation. He continues, "Do not be afraid anymore, for what you once thought was a dead end is merely a bend leading to promise. Every loss is no longer an ending, but a door to what is eternal." At those words, your heart will ignite, for your soul will recognize the familiar voice, the voice of love that has called you since the beginning of time, the voice of the one who has never left you, not even for a moment. My child, there are moments when heaven draws so near that the soul trembles. This is one of those moments. If you close your eyes and listen, you will sense the air around you shifting. It is not mere wind, but the current of grace. Heaven leans toward you now, for you stand exactly where God has ordained. It is no coincidence that you are reading these words. It is no coincidence that your heart is stirred in this very instant. Everything, every second, every day, every year you have walked has been preparing you for this moment. The moment you realize you have been chosen. Know that this is a sacred hour not only for you but for me as well, for I have waited long for you to arrive here, to this place where you are humble enough to listen, strong enough to receive, and faithful enough not to turn away. Heaven does not entrust its greatest gifts to those who chase fame, but to those who bow in silence, who kneel and whisper, "Lord, use me." And you are that one. Therefore, today is not merely a day of blessing. It is the day when heaven's destiny is fulfilled upon the earth. You are chosen to receive what many have not yet dared to imagine. It is not merely material blessing or temporary success, but the illumination that transforms you into a vessel of hope. You will be the one to bring peace where there is turmoil, light where there is shadow, mercy where hearts have grown cold. Do not think yourself small, for in the hands of God, a soul that believes can move the world. My beloved, hold fast to every word I speak. Each one is not just sound, but a fragment of light sent from heaven, carrying the power to transform. As you read, let every word soak into your heart as rain into dry soil, for these words are not meant only to be heard, they are meant to be lived. If you let go too soon, if you turn away before the end, you will miss the portion of abundance written solely for your heart, the part no one else can receive, for it was composed for your soul alone, in rhythm with your heartbeat and shaped for the journey that is uniquely yours. Understand this, grace has its appointed time, and that time is now. When heaven opens, receive it with both hands and with all your faith. Do not hesitate. Do not fear that you are not good enough or worthy enough. God did not choose you because you were perfect. He chose you because He saw in you a heart that is ready. He does not seek the strong, He seeks those who know they need Him. And because you have known how to weep, to wait, to keep faith through the darkness, He has chosen you to bear witness to the light. Stay, my child. Do not rush away, for the greatest things often come just after the moment you feel you can wait no longer. Believe that if you endure a little longer, you will hear the stirring sound of a miracle. Heaven is never late. It comes only when you are deep enough to understand its worth. And when it arrives, you will see that nothing in your life was meaningless, that everything, from tears to laughter, from waiting to hoping, has been the building stones of the temple of light that God is raising within you. My beloved child, today let your heart be wide open. Let the light pour in and dissolve every fear, every limitation, every painful memory. Rise in the courage of one who has been chosen, for heaven has decreed. This is the day you belong to, the day when the ancient promise of God becomes visible in your life, and when you take a deep breath, you will feel it as though heaven itself is breathing with you. Hold on, my child. For once you have grasped this light, darkness can no longer touch you. From this moment on, you are no longer merely one who pleads, but one who carries the promise. You do not just live in hope, you are the living proof that God is still moving among humankind. My beloved one, listen deeply, for the heavens today are resonating with melodies that only awakened souls can perceive. High above, streams of light intertwine like ribbons of divine will, unfolding a new chapter in the song of triumph written for you. Movements are taking place within the unseen realm where your eyes cannot reach, yet your spirit feels them clearly. These are waves of transformation, signals from heaven touching the deepest layers of reality, confirming that what you have prayed for, wept for, and waited for is now being fulfilled. This morning, my child, the Archangel Michael stepped into the blazing chamber of light before the throne of God. In his hands was your name written in golden faith and engraved with the tears of devotion. When he placed your name upon the Almighty's hand, a radiant burst of light spread forth, piercing through every realm of the heavens, carrying with it an unprecedented blessing. In that instant, what was once delayed was released, what seemed distant was brought near, and what you thought would take years is now being accelerated by the very hand of God. There are things, my child, that do not unfold according to human time, but in rhythm with the heartbeat of heaven, and today, that heartbeat is stronger than ever. Heaven has sealed a new promise, and its light is flowing down, weaving into every corner of your life. Everything is changing not from the outside, but from the roots within, for God is not merely rearranging circumstances around you. He is recreating you, shaping you to be worthy of what He is about to bestow. Stay, my child, stay with me until the end. Do not let impatience or doubt pull you away from this sacred hour that is unfolding, for this is the holy moment, the moment when something vast is being inscribed into your destiny. Do you feel it? That quickening in your mind, that trembling in your soul, that unspeakable emotion you cannot explain, it is the soul's response to the nearness of a miracle. Do not dismiss it. Do not question it. It is not imagination, it is a sign. God is touching your heart. Invisible things in the heavens are shifting, and when heaven moves, the earth trembles in harmony. Angels are flying across the realms, carrying new decrees from the throne. Everything is being realigned to match the divine intention for you. The people you are meant to meet are being drawn near. Doors once thought closed are stirring as if about to open. Opportunities you believed were lost are returning in new form. Today, yes, today, a sacred rotation of heaven is turning, and at its very center stands you. Do you know, faithful soul? When God decides to bless, He offers no explanations. He does not require you to prove your worth. He asks for only one thing, that you have believed. And because you believed even when you could not see, because you waited when you could not hear, because you prayed when no one understood, now the reward of that faith is coming. Everything once denied, every prayer thought forgotten, is being gathered and lifted up as a precious offering. The Archangel Michael is working tirelessly. The light upon his sword is tearing through the fog that once clouded your vision. The forces that tried to hinder, delay, or plant doubt in your heart are being defeated. He is clearing the path before you, a path no longer tangled, no longer anxious, but illuminated with light and wrapped in peace. He declares, "Beloved child, do not fear, for the promise remains. Your God has not forgotten, and heaven never sleeps." Imagine, my child, when that word is spoken, 10,000 heavenly hosts bow their heads, light bursts forth from the throne of God, and your name is proclaimed as a declaration of hope. Today, heaven engraves upon its sacred history that this is your day, the day destiny shifts, the day promises take form. And as the angels lift their voices in praise, a tender radiance will descend upon the place where you stand, wrapping around you like a mantle of peace. My child, do you hear that call? The call resounding within your heart, urging you to rise, to open yourself, and to receive what is coming. For it is not merely a gift, but an affirmation that you have been chosen. God has seen you in the long night, heard every faint breath as you prayed, and witnessed your tears falling while you still clung to faith. And today, He answers not with words, but with action. A transformation is stirring within your soul, like a river quietly turning its course toward the ocean. The broken parts within you are beginning to mend. The fears that once haunted you are dissolving. The way you see yourself is changing, for light is reaching into the places you once kept hidden. God is teaching you to see through His eyes, to recognize that even in the smallest things, there lies a divine purpose. And, my child, when I say something great is coming, I do not speak of chance. I speak of a promise conceived in love and fulfilled in perfect timing. It will not come like thunder, but like dawn, silent, gentle, and radiant. You will not have to strive to receive it. You need only remain, trust, and open your heart. Heaven will take care of the rest. The Archangel Michael is writing a message bearing your name. Each line is carved in light, each character formed by the breath of faith. Within it are things you have never heard, affirmations from heaven, declaring that you are loved, chosen, and sent forth with a sacred mission. This message speaks not only of blessing but of calling, of your role as a bearer of light for those dwelling in darkness. Michael says, you will not only receive grace, but you will become grace for others. Understand, my child, that the blessings of God never end with one person. When He touches you, it is so that through you, He might reach many more. The peace you are about to receive is not just to calm your heart, but to flow outward to those around you. Every step, every word, every glance of yours will carry the fragrance of grace. Others will look upon you and sense something different, not because you try to display it, but because the light within you cannot be hidden. Do not fear the new. Do not fear change. God is rewriting your story, and the next page will look nothing like the ones before. You will be led to places you never imagined, meet souls you never knew, and witness miracles you never dared to dream. Each event will be a whisper from heaven, each coincidence a touch of divine love. My beloved child, this is my invitation. Pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and feel. Feel the vibration in the air. It is the heartbeat of heaven syncing with yours. Feel the current of energy flowing. It is the river of grace covering your soul. Feel the peace spreading through you. It is God's promise becoming real. Do not doubt what is unfolding, for it is true. Heaven is moving to show you that God has never been silent. He is responding by transforming every layer of reality around you, from the smallest detail to the deepest realm. And when this day closes, you will know that you have walked through one of the holiest days of your life. The day God spoke, the day heaven and earth touched, the day light triumphed over darkness within your heart. My child, stand firm, open wide, and remain. For today, joy is drawing nearer to you faster than you can imagine. The Archangel Michael stands beside you, continuing the story that God Himself began. And when He finishes this message, you will understand every tear, every waiting, every night of silence was but the journey leading you to the light of this very hour, the hour of blessing, the hour of transformation, the hour of revelation. My beloved child, there are mornings that seem no different from any other day, yet your soul senses something has changed. The light still pours through the window as always, the wind still brushes against the trees, and the birds still sing their familiar song, but within your heart there is a subtle stirring, gentle yet deep, soft yet trembling. You cannot name it, but you know it clearly. Something is happening. That is when I begin to call your name. My voice does not arrive with thunder or commotion. It does not come through strange signs that cause awe and fear, but through the smallest rhythm, a breath, a glimmer, a tender awareness. I never enter through noise. I come in stillness, when the soul is quiet enough to hear and thirsty enough to receive. You think it is just a fleeting moment, yet in truth, It is when heaven leans close to your heart. You have passed through many seasons without realizing that I was there all along. But now, I call you not to frighten you, but to remind you of what you have forgotten. You belong to me. Your name has been written in my book before the world began. And now, as the appointed moment arrives, I call to awaken the soul that has slept too long in worry, in weariness, in the illusion of ordinary days. My child, when I call, it is not merely a summons, it is an awakening, an invitation, an open door. From the moment you sense me, even faintly, your life will no longer be the same. Everything will continue as before: the sunlight, the work, the people you meet, but within each detail, you will feel something new, as if the world has been washed clean. I am weaving everything around you. Again, quietly, yet completely. You will recognize it when your heart begins to tremble without reason, when a song moves you to tears, when a breeze makes you pause, when tears fall and you do not know why. These are not fleeting emotions. They are the signs that I am touching your soul. Do not be afraid, for when I touch, I do not come to disturb, but to restore. From the beginning, I have placed within you a spark of eternity. It has never gone out, only covered by the dust of time. But today, I breathe upon that flame. When I move, all the heavens move. Your name is spoken before my throne of light, and my radiance spreads across the realms above. From that moment, everything in your life begins to take a new direction, not random, but purposeful. When the Archangel Michael stands before me, he carries a tablet engraved with your name. Light bursts from it like fire. I lay my hand upon it, and all of heaven falls silent. I declare, the time has come, not the time of the world, but mine, the moment when your preparation meets my mercy. From that instant, you step into Kairos, the divine time, when heaven bends low and says, "Now, begin." My child, do not take this moment lightly. There are things you thought would take years to come to pass, yet now I am hastening them. There are things you believed were denied, but I am returning them to you in deeper, kinder, more sacred ways. When I move, every barrier must fall, every delay must dissolve, and every path will open. Can you feel it? The shift is subtle, yet undeniable. Your soul knows that something momentous is near. I know you have waited long. I know the nights you prayed, believing I was silent. But my child, I was never silent. In those nights, I spoke to you in another language, the language of faith. I was laying a foundation strong enough so that when the blessing arrives, you would not be swept away but would hold it in peace. That is why, when I call your name, I also touch your heart to transform it first. And when your heart begins to change, everything around you will change too. You will find that old things no longer bind you. You will see that what once frightened you now seems small, and you will feel a peace that does not depend on circumstance but flows from within, where I dwell. That is true peace, the kind no one can take away. I want you to understand this. I do not call you because you are already perfect. I call you because I long to perfect you. Your weakness does not push me away, it draws me near. Your wounds do not repel me, they move me to touch. For it is through those cracks that my light enters and shines. Do not hide your brokenness from me. It is precisely where I desire to dwell. When you begin to recognize my voice, know that your life will gradually start to shift. Relationships, dreams, and steps, all will be rearranged to align with the new plan I am unfolding. Do not be alarmed when the old departs. It is merely making room for what has been prepared. God never takes away without intending to give back. When I close a door, it is not to confine you, but to protect you from what is not yet ready. My child, look around with new eyes. Learn to recognize my signs in small things. It may be a conversation that seems random yet stirs faith within you. It may be an afternoon breeze that reminds you that I still walk beside you. It may be a single glance from another, through which I whisper, I am still here. When you truly learn to see, you will realize that I have never left your life for even a single moment. You were simply too occupied to notice, but now I open your eyes so that you may understand. Every detail of your life is a language of mine. God does not only speak in churches, He speaks in kitchens, in offices, on the roads you walk, in the very breath you take. And when you learn to listen, you will discover that every place is holy ground, every moment is sacred time. Do not fear when everything begins to change. My beloved, do not think that you are losing control. In truth, you are being redirected to the right path. What seems like disorder is actually divine reordering. I am rewriting the story of your life with the hand of love, not erasing your past, but transforming it into a testimony of grace. I want you to remember this. When I call, you do not need to understand everything. You only need to believe. Faith does not demand that you see the outcome. It simply asks that you take the step, even when you see nothing ahead. So step forward, my child. Just one step, and I will take care of the rest. Now, as you read these words, I know your soul trembles. That is because truth within you is awakening. Do not push that feeling away, for it is not a passing emotion. It comes from the source, from the place where your soul first heard my voice. Let that feeling spread, merge into your breath, and you will know that I am right here, nearer than near, more real than your own heartbeat. Stay in this light, my child. Do not run elsewhere. Do not search for more signs, because this very moment is the sign. Everything begins when you choose to remain in faith, in stillness, in my hand. From here, a new journey begins, and I will not leave your side for even half a step. I speak to you. You are no longer one who stands in the night. You are the one chosen by dawn. Your name is called in the light, and no power can erase it from my heart. Hold on to this truth, my beloved. For when heaven calls your name, it means your life has entered the land of grace where everything will be renewed, and your soul will learn what it truly means to live. When I call your name, all things in heaven and on earth begin to move. Though your eyes may not yet see, your soul stands at the center of a divine orchestration that has been unfolding since long ago. There are movements that make no sound yet change the entire course of a life. Like the wind, you cannot see its shape, only feel its touch upon your skin. So it is with my grace. It does not announce itself with thunder, yet it quietly renews everything. Do not think, my child, that when you pray and see nothing, heaven is silent. No, in the very moments when you think nothing is happening, heaven is working most powerfully. I am reconnecting what seemed broken, moving aside the stones that block your path, aligning the hearts connected to yours so they fall into their right places. Everything is shifting, but in ways that human eyes cannot measure, only faith can perceive. I want you to understand that nothing in life is accidental. Even when you feel slowed down, halted, or pushed in another direction, it is all part of my design. The silence of heaven is not neglect, but a pause for refinement. Just as a jeweler cannot shape a gem without knowing when to stop his hand, there are moments when I hold you still, not because you are wrong, but because the time is not yet ripe. And when the time is full, it will take only a single breath, and the door will open. My child, believe that I have never forgotten a single prayer of yours. No prayer ever falls into the void. Every word you speak rises like incense before my throne. Some prayers are answered quickly because they align with the appointed time. Others, I hold back, for I must rearrange the entire universe around you so that they may come to pass in the right way. At times, you may feel as though you are merely waiting, but in truth, heaven is preparing something far greater than you can imagine. Every movement of mine is precise. Imagine, if you will, in the invisible realm, countless streams of light interweaving intentions, souls, and seemingly separate events, and I am arranging them all to fit together perfectly. Each time you choose love over fear, forgiveness over blame, you are walking in harmony with this divine orchestration. Conversely, each time you lose heart or rush ahead, you are tugging the thread from my hand. Therefore, learn to trust the rhythm of heaven. True faith is not merely believing that I will act, but trusting that I am acting, even when you do not yet see. Remember this, my child. God works most profoundly in the hours when you think nothing is happening. When all seems still, that is when my hand is moving deep within your soul. The ideas that suddenly arise, the small opportunities that appear, the strangers who come at the right moment, these are not coincidences. They are the signals of divine arrangement. My child, the material world is only the visible surface. The deepest, strongest, and most enduring part of life lies in the unseen realm. There, I am weaving what you are about to receive. As I weave, every thread is a person, a circumstance, a moment in time. Nothing is wasted, no strand is misplaced, and you are an essential part of this grand tapestry. You may not yet understand, but one day, when you look back, you will exclaim, "So everything was arranged in perfect harmony." When Michael, the archangel of light, stands beside you, he does more than protect. He coordinates, moves, and lightens what is heavy. You may not hear the flutter of his wings, but you will sense his presence through subtle changes. A door closing without sorrow, a person departing without resentment, a new opportunity arriving that brings peace instead of fear. Michael does not come to perform dramatic miracles, but to realign the atmosphere of your soul so you may be ready to receive the greater miracle. You will recognize heaven's orchestration in the smallest movements, a gentle thought that shifts your decision, a spark of inspiration in the night, an unexpected call that leads to blessing. Everything rests in my hands. Even when you take a wrong turn, I know how to turn that path into part of the lesson that leads you home. No failure ever lies outside the reach of grace. My child, do not ask, "When will what I long for come to pass?" Ask instead, "Am I ready to receive it?" For what I prepare is not small, and I do not wish it to break you. I am not hurried, because I love you. True love does not move at the pace of human desire, but at the pace of the soul's healing. Anything that arrives before maturity brings harm, but when it comes at the appointed time, it becomes a perfect blessing. There will be moments when you find yourself walking through a dim place, neither fully bright nor completely dark. That is when I test your heart through silence. You think I am far, yet I am right beside you, watching how you hold your faith. This silence is not punishment but teaching, for only in silence can the soul truly listen. When you cease demanding answers, you will receive peace greater than any answer. I know there are times when you grow weary, when waiting feels too long. But, my child, heaven's time is not earth's time. On earth, you measure by days and nights. In heaven, I measure by the readiness of your soul. When your heart is open enough, my grace will pour out, and nothing can hinder it. Therefore, instead of counting days, tend to your heart. When peace dwells within you, everything will naturally fall into place. My child, look around at the world. Everything moves according to a shared rhythm, the rhythm of the Creator. The river does not hurry, yet it reaches the sea. The seed rests in the soil, yet it knows the season to bloom. The stars make no sound, yet they shine unceasingly. So too, your life does not need noise to hold meaning. As long as you remain in my rhythm, you will see that all things unfold in perfect order. In the days ahead, you will begin to notice small changes, a door closing, another opportunity opening, an unexpected person appearing to guide you in the right direction. Welcome each of these shifts in peace. Do not strive to understand. Simply trust that I am working for what is best. When I arrange things, nothing is excessive, nothing is lacking, and no moment is ever late. My child, I want you to know that right now, as you read these words, heaven is moving on your behalf. Every layer of light is in motion, every angel is fulfilling their task, and every prayer you have uttered is being woven into the divine orchestration. Nothing is meaningless, no moment is wasted. Even your tears are being used as the water that nourishes new seeds. Believe, my child, when I arrange things, you do not need to understand everything. You only need to remain in love. Let all things unfold according to the order of grace. Do not rush to conclude that something is wrong simply because you cannot yet comprehend it. Everything I do has purpose, and one day, when light shines upon the entire canvas, you will see that every fragment, even the darkest one, was necessary to complete the beauty of the whole. Therefore, be at peace. Everything is moving in the right direction, even if you cannot see it. Yet, in the unseen realm, my hand is at work. When the time ripens, what you have prayed for will appear like dawn after a long night, not sudden, not blinding, but gentle, certain, and full of life. I say to you, be still and know that I am God. Do not fear the darkness, for I am working within it. Do not be troubled when the winds arise, for the wind is my way of clearing the path. Allow me to finish what I have begun in you, and when your new day begins, you will recognize not with your eyes, but with your heart, that everything around you has changed. Not because the world itself has altered, but because you have stepped into the rhythm of heaven. My child, in the stillness of eternity, there exists a timeless moment where every soul ever created holds a single sound. That sound is your name, spoken from my lips before the world took shape. That name is not merely a sequence of syllables. It is the frequency of your soul, the flame of your essence, the signature by which all of heaven knows you when you return. When I speak your name, space opens, light gathers, and all realities bow, for it is the voice of the Creator, awakening what I have sown. A name is a promise, a path, a covenant between me and your soul. It cannot be stolen, forged, or forgotten, for it is written in light not with ink, but with my will itself. When you hear my voice calling, it is not an echo from without, but a resonance from within the sacred vibration where I first inscribed the jewel of your destiny. There is a book kept at the center of light, guarded by angels with wings of fire. Mortals call it the Book of Destiny, but in heaven it is known as the Book of Knowing, where each soul is inscribed in golden light, and every page moves like a breath. Not all are called at the same time, for human time is but a shadow of heavenly history. When your appointed moment comes, a call resounds, not as sound, but as a vibration passing through all layers of existence. Then Michael, the messenger who bears the shining sword, steps forth from the flame of my throne, carrying a golden seal engraved with pure light. He brings not a promise of earthly reward, but the eternal mark, a radiance only a soul prepared can bear without being consumed. When that seal touches your forehead, it leaves no scar but a memory, the remembrance that you belong to me, that your life is no accident, that every trial has been a sacred initiation for a great commission. Know this, my child, when your name is called, honor comes with responsibility. To be inscribed before the throne of God is not a prize, it is a summons. Many desire to be chosen, but only those ready to serve are entrusted with the seal. Some are chosen to receive, others are chosen to carry. The one who is named must learn to bear the cross in light, not in complaint. I do not seek more lips to praise me. I seek souls who honor me through action, through courage, through their willingness to walk into darkness carrying light. When I call your name, it is not merely to affirm that you are loved, but to invite you into the path of the bearer of light, the one whose radiance can both illuminate and refine, can both heal and test. For true light does not only shine, it purifies. There are souls that tremble when they are called, for they mistake light as a place to hide. But no, my child, light is where nothing can be concealed. When my golden seal touches your soul, every falsehood is burned away, every veil dissolves, and only truth and love remain. I call you not because you are perfect, but because I long to perfect you through my own light. I call you not for your strength, but so that my strength may be revealed through your weakness. Just as Moses trembled before the burning bush, so will you tremble before my presence. Yet fear not, for that trembling is the sign that you are alive, that you are being touched, being transformed. When light reflects upon your hands, remember, it is not your own glory, but a reminder that those hands now belong to me, to heal, to lift, to rewrite, and to serve. My child, Michael is the messenger of that sealed light. He comes not in terror, but in the majesty of stillness. When your soul is summoned, Michael arrives not to bestow favor, but to place you within a new divine order. He lifts your hands so the light may pass through, and he asks, "Are you willing?" No one can counterfeit the answer, for in that instant, it is the heart that speaks instead of the lips, and the soul that speaks instead of the will. If you say yes, all of heaven will know, and from that moment, the events of your life begin to move according to heavenly alignment. Coincidences become signs, encounters become missions, tears become holy oil. From then on, everything carries meaning, for the light has been sealed, and your name has been spoken before my throne. But understand this, my child, to be called is not to be at ease. When light is given, darkness takes notice. Just as a flame draws the moth, a soul bearing light will draw trials, misunderstandings, envy, and invisible collisions, unseen by others. Yet do not be afraid, for Michael will be near. When you find yourself standing on the threshold between two worlds, call his name not with your lips, but within your spirit. One spark of faith, one breath of calling, and Michael will spread his wings of light over your soul. His mission is not only to protect, but to remind you that you are sealed, that you no longer belong to the shadows. He will remind you when you forget, lift you when you fall, and teach you to fight not with anger, but with light. My child, when your name is called, it means you can no longer live for yourself alone. The light within you will demand that you live transparently, love truthfully, and forgive courageously. For a sealed soul cannot compromise with falsehood. Every word and every protectable thought creates a reflection in the unseen realm. That is why so many, after being touched by light, feel their lives turned upside down. It is not the light that causes chaos, but that the light exposes what was already disordered. My way brings restoration not by adding more, but by removing what is untrue, so that you may become your truest self, so that your name may resound in harmony with my will. There is a moment only those who are called will understand. When Michael touches the soul, it is not light descending from above, but light rising from within, merging with his. That is when you realize that being called is not about being chosen from the outside, but about being awakened from within. The holiest part of you recognizes the voice of the one who made it, just as a child recognizes its mother's voice among 1,000 sounds. And then you will know you were never forgotten. Only now do you hear again the call that has echoed since before time began. Remember this, my child. The sealed light never goes out. Even if you walk through darkness, even if you falter, even if the world forgets your name, there is still a page in heaven, inscribed in gold. And every time you return, I need only touch that page, and the light will flare anew. Nothing is lost in true light, only veiled for a while, for I do not regret calling your name. Once I have written it, no angel may erase it, no power can alter it, no failure can undo what I have sealed with my own light. For I did not choose you for a moment, I chose you for eternity. When you walk through life, you may sometimes feel small in the face of others' glory. Yet remember, true honor does not lie in the gaze of the world, but in the realm where your name is spoken unseen. Some are praised under bright lights, yet their names do not echo in the book of heaven. Others serve quietly, unknown to men. Yet when Michael opens the book, light pours from their names like the brilliance of 1,000 suns. My child, choose that light, the kind that needs no witness but is recognized by heaven. Let your hands, though weary, remain radiant, for that is the mark of one who has been sealed. And on the day of destiny, when you stand before my throne, you will need no defense, no proof, for the light upon your forehead will testify that you belong to me. I will call your true name the name of your soul, known only to me and to you. And when that sound fills the heavens, every angel will bow, every realm will open, and Michael will smile, for his mission will be complete. In that moment, the light within you will merge with the eternal light, and you will understand that every step, every trial, every wound was only the path leading to that moment. The moment your name is called before the throne of God, and your soul is sealed with a light that never fades. My beloved, there are prayers that seem to vanish into the air, whispers that never form into words, trembling breaths in the depth of long nights. But I tell you truly, no prayer is ever lost. Each one, whether faint or fervent, is recorded in the sacred realm, like a seed buried in the soil, awaiting the right season to bloom. Prayer is not a cry meant to change me. It is a journey through which your soul opens to align with my will. You think my silence means absence, but in truth, I am listening, working within the stillness, for there are miracles that can only be born in peace, not in the noise of impatience. Some seeds must sleep through the winter before they rise in spring. Some drops of dew seem to vanish, yet they are becoming part of the rain I am preparing. So it is with your prayers. They are held in my hands, nurtured by the breath of the Spirit. When you pray, what changes first is not your circumstance, but you. The moment you whisper, Lord, your soul begins its shift from the shadow of control into the light of surrender. For true prayer is not an attempt to bend my will toward yours, but to bring your will into harmony with mine as a river finds its way back to the ocean. Many ask, why does God not answer me? But understand this, sometimes I do not answer, not because I do not hear, but because the answer would be too small if given too soon. Some blessings require maturity to be carried. Like a child asking to hold a torch while his hands are still weak, I delay not out of lack of love, but to ensure the flame will illuminate rather than burn you. Every prayer has its season, and my timing is never late. When your soul is ready to see, the answer will appear, but if your eyes remain clouded, even miracles may pass by unnoticed. Therefore, learn to give thanks not only when you see the outcome, but also when you hear silence. For in that silence, I am writing the deepest part of the answer. My child, do not think I am silent. God is never silent. I only wait until your heart is still enough to hear. My voice does not come in thunder or storm, but in the gentle wind that brushes the soul. Yet if your heart is crowded with worry, how can you hear the wind? If your mind is filled with words, how can you hear mine? At times, I withdraw not to leave you, but to teach you that faith rests not in feeling, but in knowing. Like the dew that disappears when the sun rises, you think it is gone, but it has returned to the sky. So too, your prayers do not vanish. They simply change form from words into reality, from droplets into clouds. There are souls who long to see miracles before they believe, but I tell you, those who recognize me in the ordinary are the ones who truly believe. Joy does not come from miracles themselves, but from the awareness that grace is already at work every minute, every second, in every breath. When you see one door close and another open, that is not mere luck, it is me. When peace fills your heart amid the storm, that is not self-comfort, it is me. When you forgive without knowing how, that is not your strength, it is grace. Learn to see me in simplicity, in a meal, in the morning light, in the footsteps of a passerby, in the tear that dries while peace remains. Then you will know that prayers are not answered outside you, but within. My child, prayer has its own rhythm, like the heartbeat of the universe. When you pray, a sacred current begins to move. It travels through layers of doubt, fear, and limitation, until it reaches the realm of light where my will unfolds. Some prayers go beyond words, they become breath, gaze, or the quiet acts you perform in faith. That is the kind of prayer that never ceases. When you bow your head, when you fall silent, when you have no words left, that is when the purest prayer rises, not through speech, but through your very soul. And when that happens, I do not merely hear, I respond with my very presence. But you must know this. When the answer comes, the first thing that changes is not the world, it is your vision. When you are truly answered, suddenly you no longer rush to have everything different. Instead, you find peace within what already is. You realize that I never left, and that the miracle is not in changing circumstances, but in transforming how you see. A soul whose eyes have been opened begins to see everything as a gift. They see my hand in both gain and loss, in both tears and laughter. Just as the farmer understands that a seed must first embrace the dark before it can rise, the grateful soul understands that even the night is part of the blessing. So, when your prayer is answered, do not seek signs in the outer world. Ask your heart instead, am I still afraid? Do I still doubt? If not, then you have already been answered. My child, sometimes I answer you by helping you forget what you once pleaded for. I do not refuse, I replace. I do not take away, I renew. There are wishes I do not grant because they are too small compared to what I intend to give. When you ask for a drop of water, I am preparing an entire spring. But to drink from it, you must journey there. That is the path, and many stop midway, believing I have forgotten. But my child, nothing is ever forgotten in love. Every whispered prayer forms a line of light inscribed upon the fabric of creation, and when the appointed time comes, it will return to you not in the form you expected, but in the form you truly needed. Then you will understand why you had to wait, why you had to lose, why you had to walk through the night. For prayer is not merely about receiving, it is the schooling of the soul. Learn, my child, to recognize grace while it is unfolding. Do not wait for the miracle to take shape before you believe. When I calm your heart amid pain, that is already a miracle. When you can still trust amid confusion, that is already a blessing. When you choose to love despite being wounded, that is the highest answer of all. Grace does not only arrive when all things are complete, it is the very energy leading you toward completeness. Remember, water does not exist only when it becomes a river. It already lives in the dew, in the hidden stream, in the breath of air. Likewise, divine favor is not revealed only when your prayer is fulfilled. It is present throughout the entire journey of your believing. And when you recognize this, your joy will no longer depend on results but on awareness itself. You will smile amid hardship, give thanks through tears, and rejoice even with empty hands, because you will know that grace still flows. It is the joy that cannot be stolen, a joy not rooted in miracles but in the knowing that I am always there. Once a soul touches that awareness, it will never be alone again. Everything around you, the wind, the light, the song of birds, the rhythm of rain will become an answer. And in that moment, prayer will no longer be asking, but thanksgiving. My child, there are battles that will never be recorded in the chronicles of the world, yet they shake the heavens themselves. These are the silent wars where your soul faces its own darkness. There is no clash of swords, no blood spilled, yet every breath, every choice, every thought is a blow struck upon destiny. There are no spectators, no applause, only you and the deepest part of yourself. It is there that the Archangel Michael stands, not outside you, but within, where strength and faith await awakening. Michael is not a symbol of conquest, but a call to return to the power of light you once forgot. His sword is not forged of metal, but of faith, and his victory is not won through destruction, but through awakening. My child, you have long believed that battle means fighting against others, resisting circumstances, or defending what you think is right. But I tell you the truth. The true battle lies not outside, but within. You may conquer the whole world, yet if you remain imprisoned by fear, you are still defeated. You may triumph over thousands, yet if you cannot overcome the whispers of doubt within your own heart, you remain a captive. Michael does not fight with a sword that kills. He fights with the sword of awareness, with the strength of unwavering faith, forces before which darkness cannot stand, for it cannot endure the frequency of truth. And, my child, that battle is waged every day within you. In each moment you must choose between faith and fear, between advancing or retreating, between loyalty or surrender. There is a kind of darkness that does not live outside in the sky, but within the heart. It whispers, "You are not enough, you will fail, no one understands you, nothing will ever change." It seeps into moments of exhaustion, into the long nights when you kneel to pray but hear no answer. It does not roar, it sighs. And there, in that silence, Michael raises his sword. He does not shout nor command, he simply kindles a small light, small, but strong enough that the darkness must recoil. That radiant sword is faith itself, the power to say, "I cannot see the way, but I will still walk. I cannot feel it, but I will still believe. I am afraid, yet I will not yield." When you speak those words, you are not alone. Michael himself fights within you, for true strength is not the absence of fear, but the courage to keep walking while fear still lingers. Do not think, my child, that Michael only appears in grand visions. He comes in the instant you are about to give up, in the breath when you wish to stop believing, in the look you give yourself when you feel you have failed. He does not say, "Rise." He breathes into your soul, and that breath becomes life itself. That is why even in the deepest night, you can still hear a faint voice whisper, "There is still another way. There is still light." In that very moment when you choose not to let go, you stand beside Michael on the invisible front line. For the true battle is not to defeat another, but to not lose yourself. Sometimes, the darkness within you does not come from fear, but from doubt. Doubt makes you look back at everything God has done for you and ask, was it really true? It sounds sweet, reasonable, even intelligent, but it is the most cunning arrow of all. It pulls you away from the light not through sin, but through logic. And that is when Michael draws his sword not to strike another, but to cut through the cords of doubt binding your soul. His radiant sword does not destroy, it liberates. It cuts through fear the way a farmer harvests grain not to lose, but to gather. Each time you say, "I still believe," even when I don't understand, that sword is lifted high. When you choose forgiveness over resentment, when you choose hope though reason is gone, you win the silent war no one sees but all of heaven sings. Michael stands for the strength within, the kind that does not come from hiding weakness, but from facing it. He does not teach you to be cold, but to love bravely through pain. Not because you do not hurt, but because you know pain cannot kill a soul sealed in light. Michael does not need perfect warriors, he needs faithful ones. Faithful to goodness, faithful to love, faithful to light even when no one is watching. For faithfulness is the weapon darkness fears most. It makes no noise, but it shakes heaven itself. When you do what is right, though no one sees, you have already planted the flag of victory on the unseen battlefield. There is one thing I want you to understand. Darkness does not fear great light, for it knows that even great flames can fade, but it trembles before a small, steadfast light that refuses to die. Michael does not bring you blazing fireworks. He gives you a quiet, enduring flame, and when you keep that flame alive through the long night, you become a true warrior. For Michael's sword of light is not for attack, it is for remembrance. To remember that you were chosen, to remember that you belong to the light, to remember that nothing can take away what God has placed within you. When you hold on to that remembrance through trial, no power on earth or in heaven can bind your soul. My child, the greatest battle is always the one fought against your own limitations. What you call destiny is often nothing more than a veil woven by fear. Michael does not come to change your circumstances, but to open your eyes to see that the chains were only an illusion. Faith is the key that opens every door, and when you hold it, there is no need to break anything. The chains dissolve on their own. Every wall you see is built by doubt. Every prison you find yourself in is locked from the inside. The sword of faith does not need to strike. It only needs to be raised, and the darkness will retreat. For darkness cannot stand before light, and fear cannot exist where the soul knows that God is with it. And, my child, Michael's victory is not in destroying the enemy, but in restoring the truth that you are loved, that you are free, that you have never been abandoned. Darkness cannot touch a soul that knows it is loved. When you truly believe in that love, every wound ceases to be proof of failure and becomes a mark of triumph. Michael never fights to prove strength. He fights to restore essence. In the same way, I do not want you to win for the sake of the ego, but to remember who you are, light among light, my breath within the world. My child, there will be times when you fall, when you tremble, when you think the darkness has prevailed. But even in that very moment, if you simply breathe, if you whisper, "Lord, help me," Michael is already there. He will lay his radiant hand upon your forehead, and you will feel warmth spreading through you, a gentle reminder that you have never fought alone. The darkness retreats, not because it fears you, but because it fears the light you carry. Remember, each time you rise, heaven resounds with rejoicing. For rising is the holiest act of all. It declares that the light still remains. And when you understand this, you will no longer fear the battle. You will see the darkness not as an enemy, but as a mirror reflecting your strength. You will realize that victory is not in never falling, but in rising each time stronger, brighter, truer. For the warriors of light are not called to avoid the night, but to make the night shine with stars. When you stand firm within, the world around you will shift, not because you command it to change, but because the light within you causes the darkness outside to withdraw. And, my child, one day you will see. The battle ends not when everything grows still, but when your heart no longer wavers. When you can walk through the storm and remain at peace. When you can look upon your enemy with compassion. When you can smile in the night. That is when Michael's sword of light has fulfilled its purpose. The darkness fades, not because it was defeated, but because it has been transformed. Then you will know that true victory is never conquest, but peace. My child, there are moments the world calls peace, yet in my eyes, they are but pauses before the next wind. True peace is not the absence of storms, but the freedom from fear in the midst of them. Peace is not the reward after battle, but my presence within the battle itself. When you understand this, you will cease waiting for a day without turbulence and realize that even amid life's tremors, you can stand still. Peace is the state of a soul that has been redeemed not from circumstance, but from the bondage of fear. When the darkness dissolves, it is not because you have conquered it, but because you have ceased to fight against yourself. My child, Darkness does not vanish in an instant, it dissolves slowly, like the mist on the mountains when the sun rises. No one hears the sound of mist fading. No one sees the exact boundary between night and dawn, yet everyone can feel the warmth spreading. In the same way, when my light touches your soul, you may not hear the sound of chains breaking, but you will feel yourself growing lighter. Fear will cease to bite. Shame will no longer strangle. The past will no longer bind your feet. Peace comes quietly. Without grandeur, it arrives like a breath, like dew dissolving, like a hand opening after years of holding too tightly. My child, I do not give peace as the world gives. The world offers you calmness when everything is under control. I give you peace when everything slips beyond your grasp. The world teaches you to be strong so that you will not fear. I teach you to trust so that you will not need to be strong. For true peace does not come from mastering all things, but from knowing that I still hold all things, even when they fall from your hands. When you dare to release, you will see grace. When you stop controlling, you will feel the warmth of freedom. For those invisible prisons, fear, shame, the need for approval, the urge to command outcomes, are the very walls that keep you from grace. You once thought imprisonment was something others did to you, but truly, no one can imprison a soul that knows it is loved by God. The real prison is built within, where you condemn yourself, doubt your worth, and believe you are unworthy of joy, of love, of peace. But my child, I say this to you. You are allowed to be at peace. You need not wait until every mistake is erased, every debt repaid, every wound healed before you rest. Even in your weakness, even in your incompleteness, you are permitted peace, for peace is not the result of perfection, but the gift of grace. Look at your hands, my child. They have held on too long, clinging to the past, to worry, to all that you thought you needed to survive. But no one can receive grace with full hands. Open them. At first, the emptiness will frighten you. You will think you have lost everything. Yet, soon, you will realize that only when your hands are open can warmth enter, can light pour in. When you open your hands, you do not lose, you are freed. Just as the sun does not fight the mist but simply shines until it fades, so peace is not won through struggle, it comes through surrender, letting the light do the rest. There are souls who believe peace marks the end of the journey, but I tell you, peace is the beginning of true life. When your heart is still, your eyes will see. When your heart is calm, your ears will hear. When your soul is at peace, you will begin to see the world through the eyes of the Spirit. Every relationship will change in color because you will no longer see others as threats, but as reflections of me. You will no longer demand that they bring you peace, for you have already found it in me. Love will no longer be a transaction, it will become a flow, like living water springing from the depths of the earth. My child, when peace comes, even your work, your duties, and the smallest details around you will carry a different light. Everything remains the same, yet you are no longer the same. What once exhausted you will become an opportunity to love. Those who once hurt you will become reminders to pray. Peace does not change the world, it changes how you live within it. Like one who has learned to hear music in the rain, you will discover that even amid turmoil there is a hidden rhythm of grace. Then you will see that God is not only above, but within all things, in your breath, in your meals, in the eyes of a stranger, and in the drop of water falling from the roof. My child, peace is not the reward for those who have reached the end of the road, but the strength that allows you to keep walking. It is the warmth that keeps you alive through the cold night, the small flame that does not go out even when the wind howls. When your soul is at peace, you no longer need to strain to believe, for faith becomes as natural as the trees. Turning toward the light, you no longer need to prove your worth, because you know your name is already written. You no longer need to fight for anything, because you understand that grace cannot be stolen. Peace is the knowing that you are in the right place, at the right time, held in the hand of the one who never errs. I want you to understand this. Peace does not mean the absence of tears. There will still be days when your heart feels heavy, nights when you cannot understand why things happen the way they do. Yet, in those very moments, true peace remains, like a river flowing beneath a frozen surface. Though the top may be cold, the water still moves, still nourishes. So too, even when you feel nothing, grace is still at work. For peace does not depend on emotion, but on truth. God is still with you, and as long as you remember that, you are free, even in the prison of life. Do not be surprised, my child, if after peace arrives, certain things around you begin to fade away. There will be people, habits, and desires that once held meaning but now dissolve like morning mist. It is not loss, it is expansion. Your soul has grown too wide to be confined by what once made you feel safe. Do not cling to them. Let them go with gratitude, for each played its part in your journey. When you no longer fear losing, you begin to truly live. Peace makes everything in life feel lighter, as though the world no longer rests upon your shoulders, but rests instead within my hands. And one day, when you look back, you will see that darkness never truly disappeared. It simply ceased to exist where light was recognized. Darkness has no substance of its own. It is only the absence of light. So too, fear, guilt, and closing of the heart all dissolve when you return to love. In that moment, peace will no longer be something you try to keep. It will be what you are. You will be peace. Your breath will be peace. Your words will carry peace. Wherever you walk, the shadows will recede, not because you strive to banish them, but because you shine. When you are delivered from the invisible prisons, you will understand that true freedom is not the ability to do everything you want, but the power to remain unshaken by anything. True freedom is the choice to love even when it hurts, to trust even when doubts arise, to rest even when the world trembles. That is the first blessing of the redeemed soul, the blessing of inner freedom. And when your soul is free, it spreads like fragrance in the wind, touching everything around it. Others will notice, though they may not understand why. They will feel serenity in your eyes, lightness in your smile, and they too will begin to yearn for that radiance. For true peace is never preached, it is transmitted through presence. My beloved child, you have passed through the night. You have heard the call, fought the battle, received the seal of light, and now you are permitted to rest in peace. Let warmth spread like sunrise over the mountain peaks. Let the mist dissolve. Let the earth breathe. Let your soul breathe in rhythm with heaven, unhurried, unafraid, untroubled. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to run. You no longer need to fear losing, for what belongs to me is never lost. You need only to live like the drop of dew reflecting light without effort, like the open hand knowing it will be filled. And I tell you this, my peace is your inheritance. No one can take it from you unless you give it away. Keep it as breath, not as a possession. Share it, do not hoard it, for peace does not diminish when given. It expands when lived. Let every step you take release a wave of warmth. Every word you speak become a drop of melting dew. Every glance you offer reveal a patch of heaven's light. Then darkness will have no place within you, and through you I will illuminate many souls. My child, it is time for you to understand that healing is not a destination, but a doorway into a new journey. No one is healed merely to rest in the comfort of peace. When the wound is closed, the soul is invited out of its shelter, carrying the light it has received to illuminate the path for others. True happiness does not come from keeping blessings to yourself, but from becoming the flow through which those blessings move. When you are healed, you are sent forth not as a victor, but as one who once fell and knows that only grace could make you rise again. It is this understanding that makes you a vessel of God's love. My child, Michael the Archangel of Light is not only a warrior of fire but a companion in mission. He does not stand ahead to command, but walks beside you to remind you that true strength lies not in the clash of swords, but in the stillness of faith. When you are sent forth, the world will not always welcome you with flowers. Sometimes it will doubt, even mock. Yet Michael will remind you that light does not need recognition to shine. The lamp in your hand, though small, can make the darkness tremble, for a mission never begins with scale, but with willingness. Do you remember the moment I called your name, when light was sealed within your heart? At that time, you did not yet understand that this seal of light was not only a mark of belonging but also a commission. Every chosen soul is entrusted with a part in the celestial symphony. One teaches, one heals, one listens, one builds, one uplifts. No one is useless, and no one is random. True happiness lies not in what you do, but in knowing who is working through you. When you act in that awareness, even the smallest gestures, a smile, a prayer, a look of compassion, become holy acts. My child, the world teaches you that happiness is found in being served, being loved, being safe. But in God, true happiness is found in becoming the servant. When you bring love to where it is lacking, you are not only giving, you are being filled. The joy of heaven flows, opposite to the laws of the world. The more you give, the more you have. The lower you bow, the higher you are lifted. For light cannot exist for itself, it lives only when it spreads. Michael understands this better than anyone. He does not fight for his own glory, but for the preservation of light, so that every soul may see the path home. My child, you will come to see that when God sends you, He does not give you a map, but a lamp. That lamp does not shine all the way to the end of the road, but just enough for your next step. And each time you move forward in faith, the light extends a little farther. That is how I lead those I love, not by showing them everything, but by teaching them to trust each step. Along that dawning path, Michael walks beside you, silent yet steadfast, keeping the flame in your hand from going out in the wind. He does not remove obstacles, but teaches you to see through them, to realize that darkness is only an opportunity for light to prove itself. My child, remember this. No one is called to sit still in grace. Grace that does not flow becomes stagnant. Light that does not shine will fade. You are called to be a channel of giving, a river, carrying my water to the dry lands. And as you give, you will come to know that true happiness is not a fleeting emotion of joy, but a deep awareness that you are in the right place, aligned with the will and rhythm of God. When you do what I have placed in your heart to do, joy does not need to be sought, it simply arises, as surely as dawn arrives without being summoned. My child, Michael will not let you walk alone. He is not merely a symbol of battle, but the witness to the journey of the one who has been sent. When you grow weary, he will breathe the warmth of his wings upon your soul. When you lose your way, he will touch your shoulder gently, not to point the path, but to remind you, you already know the way. Remember, for every soul that has been called carries within itself a compass of light. True happiness is when you hear that compass again, the voice that guides you not by instinct, but by faith. My child, the world will always ask, why do you do this? What do you gain? But the soul that has been sent needs no reason, for that soul understands that service is not a moral act, but the instinct of a healed spirit. When a heart has been healed, it cannot help but long to heal others. When one has tasted forgiveness, they cannot help but wish to offer forgiveness. When you have known that the light is real, you cannot remain silent before the darkness. Therefore, the mission is not a duty, but a hidden joy, the joy of one who knows they owe nothing anymore, except love. My child, you will come to see that a mission is not always loud. Sometimes it is a timely embrace, a silence filled with understanding, a smile that melts the ice in someone's heart. God does not need you to do great things. He needs you to do small things with great love. Michael will teach you how to wield the sword of light, not to conquer, but to clear the way for compassion to pass through. True light never coerces. It persuades by its presence. And true happiness is not when others recognize that you have changed the world, but when you know, in quietness, that God has changed someone through you. My child, on that path of dawn, there will be moments when you feel alone. But remember, the loneliness of the one who is sent is not emptiness. It is the silence that allows you to hear more clearly the footsteps of God. Do not fear silence, for it is within that silence that you will hear the next calling. The lamp you hold in your hand is not only to light the way for others, but also to illuminate yourself, so that every step you take becomes a lesson, every action a prayer. When you live in this way, your life will no longer be divided between sacred and ordinary, for all will become liturgy. Every act you perform will be a yes, whispered to God. My child, true happiness is not found in the destination, but in the motion of love itself. You are sent not to complete a task, but to become the embodiment of light among souls still searching. Each time you bring my presence into a place of sorrow, that is a miracle. Each time you forgive, it is a small revelation. Each time you stop to listen to another, it is a victory of heaven. Do not measure your mission by results, measure it by faithfulness. For the joy of the one who is sent does not lie in what they achieve, but in the fact that they keep walking, even when the road is long and the wind is against them. And, my child, I want you to know that Michael does not only protect you, he rejoices with you. When you do your part faithfully, heaven bursts into celebration, for light has expanded a little more. No one may know, but every act of love makes the heavens tremble. When you lead someone out of the darkness of despair, a new star is lit in the sky. When you choose gentleness instead of argument, the angels sing once more. The true joy of the soul is knowing it has not lived in vain, that every moment, no matter how small, still contributes to the great symphony of heaven. My child, I do not send you out to bear a burden, but to be free. For to serve in the light is not to lose yourself, but to return to your truest essence. You were created to love, and only in loving will you feel truly alive. The mission is not a forced path, but the way your soul moves in harmony with its divine rhythm. When you serve, you are not working for me, you are working with me. And when you understand this, happiness will cease to be a feeling and will become a current flowing through you. Joy will turn into breath light, pure and ever-present. One day, when dawn has fully risen, you will look back and realize that everything you once asked for, God has answered not by giving it, but by transforming you into the answer itself. You once prayed for light, and I made you become that light. You once prayed for peace, and I made you a bearer of peace to others. You once prayed for miracles, and I made you a small miracle in someone else's life. That is the pinnacle of true joy, when you no longer seek anything for yourself, because you have found the meaning of being sent. My child, there is an invisible rhythm by which the whole universe moves. From the first breath of morning to the pulse of the stars, everything flows in my divine order. All creation follows this current, neither rushed nor delayed, simply on time, and you, my little soul, were made to live in that rhythm. Yet the world has taught you to resist the flow, to do more, to hold more, to prove more, and so you grow weary. You have believed that blessings are rewards for effort, but I tell you, grace is not something to be earned, it is a river you are invited to drift upon. When you learn to live in heaven's rhythm, everything becomes lighter. Not because you do less, but because you no longer act out of fear. The world teaches you to row harder to reach the shore, but I teach you to row steadily, so you do not lose yourself along the way. You will see that when the oar moves through water in harmony with the wind, the boat travels farther, smoother, and quieter yet still arrives. That is the way of grace. It does not push, it does not control, it simply aligns. When your soul moves in heaven's tempo, time loses its hold. Everything comes in its appointed moment, through the right people, in the right way, as if the world itself breathes in rhythm with you. My child, learn to do less, to trust more, and to listen deeper. Doing less is not laziness, it is the release from unconscious striving. Trusting more is not surrendering passively, it is knowing that I am at work even when you cannot see, and listening deeper is not done with the ear, but with the soul, hearing the movement within, where I whisper every direction. For the one who hears heaven's rhythm does not need to compete. The one who lives in grace does not need to prove. They know the universe is not a machine to control, but a symphony to join. I did not create you to live in strain, but in rhythm, the rhythm of light, of breath, of trust. When you fall out of that rhythm, life feels like an uphill current, where everything must be forced and held together. But when you return to heaven's tempo, all things unfold naturally. The closed door will open at its hour, the one meant for you will appear at the right moment, and the path will reveal itself when you are ready. Grace does not need your struggle, it needs your readiness. Just as the wind needs no understanding from you, it only asks that you raise the sail. I have seen you many times straining to prove, to hold what you fear to lose. But my beloved, blessings do not come to clenched hands. They come to open palms, hands that know they do not control, yet are never forsaken. When you live in heaven's rhythm, you will see daily miracles, strange coincidences, timely arrivals, gentle signs like a breath of wind that your soul will recognize. You will see that I do not work through noise, but through harmony. Grace does not force its way, it seeps through, like water between stones, like light through a window, silent yet unstoppable. The flow of grace never ceases. It moves not only from me to you, but through you into the world. When you allow yourself to drift in that current, everything you do is carried by divine strength. You no longer need to create success, for you are part of a design that has been complete since the beginning. Each act of love, however small, joins you to the Creator's work. When you live this way, serenity surrounds you not because you are perfect, but because you are in tune. Your heartbeat aligns with the pulse of the waves, and the whole universe sings with you. Observe the gentle water, my child. It does not compete, it does not fear, and yet it reaches where it must. It does not know its destination, but always flows true, because it yields to the gravity I have ordained. So too, when your soul yields to the gravity of grace, you will not lose your way. Every worry, every plan, every question finds its rightful place. You need not control every detail. You only need to keep your heart balanced like a boat steady upon the waves. When peace reigns within you, peace will shape the world around you. When you believe, the whole universe begins to move in rhythm with that belief. My child, I know you have grown accustomed to striving to love, to forgive, to believe, to endure. Yet striving does not bring forth blessing, it only brings exhaustion. Grace does not flow from pressure, but from surrender. Surrender is not defeat, it is trust, the trust that there exists a current wiser than your own will. When you allow that current to guide you, you will witness the greatest miracle. Everything unfolds with ease. Not because life becomes simple, but because you cease resisting. And when you no longer resist, I can finally do my part. My child, in the rhythm of heaven, there is neither early nor late. Some blessings you think have been delayed are, in truth, waiting for you to be still enough to receive them. Just as a river cannot hold more water when it is filled with mud, your soul cannot hold more grace when it is full of calculation. When you quiet your heart, the water clears. When you trust, grace begins to flow. You will see what seemed to have stopped begin to move again. Relationships once broken start to mend, and doors once closed quietly open not by force, but by harmony. Look, my child, at the oar, gliding gently across the surface of the water. A skilled rower does not fight the river, he moves with it. He senses the pulse of the current, knowing when to push and when to release. In the same way, those who live in grace are not those who do everything, but those who know when to act and when to wait. Not every opportunity is a calling, not every movement is progress. There are moments when stillness is the highest obedience, for in the pause I prepare what comes next. Do not fear stillness, my child, for stillness is the language of heaven. Within it, I teach you to hear the heartbeat of eternity. And, my child, when you live in the right rhythm, time will no longer be your enemy. You will not rush, you will not fear being too late, nor strive to be fast enough, for you will understand that everything arrives on time, and on time is not when you are ready, but when the universe is ready with you. In that rhythm, happiness ceases to be a distant reward, it becomes a present state of being. You will find joy in the simplest things, in the brush of wind against your hair, in the morning light, in the steady rhythm of your breath. Every moment becomes sacred because it moves in harmony with heaven's tempo. My child, I have not called you to be busy in holy work, but to be still in divine action. Action born from peace differs from action born from fear. When you act from peace, the energy you release carries order, and everything around you gradually aligns into harmony. This is what it means to do less, yet accomplish more. Not because you have become cleverer, but because you are carried by my current. Like a boat that drifts downstream, even the lightest stroke of the oar travels farther than one rowing upstream with all their might. My child, when you are truly in heaven's rhythm, you will sense a mysterious correspondence between your heart and the waves. Every time you inhale, I inhale with you. Every time you exhale, I exhale with you. And between those breaths lies an invisible crossing point where grace moves. I am not far away. I am moving in rhythm with you. When you live with this awareness, there is no boundary between heaven and earth, only one continuous flow of life, and you are within it. My child, let your life become a symphony of trust. Let each day be a beat, each action a note, each breath a rhythm. Do not try to rewrite the score, simply play your part well. When you play in tune, the whole orchestra joins in. What you do not understand today will one day harmonize perfectly with things you never imagined. This is the artistry of heaven. Everything has its place, and when you stop trying to control it, you will finally hear the melody. My child, the flow of grace is neither hurried nor loud, yet it is stronger than any waterfall and more enduring than any river. Those who learn to live within that flow no longer fear loss, nor worry about lack, nor feel lost. They know that all they need will come, not early, not late. When you live this way, grace naturally surrounds you, and others will feel your calm without knowing why. For those who live in heaven's rhythm do not carry anxiety, they carry the plaster, order of light. And my child, when you live in that rhythm, you will understand. I have never been far, it was only you who hurried. When you slow down, you will see that I have been walking beside you all along. When you release the oar, the current will carry you home. And when you grow still, you will hear my voice not from above, but from within, where your heartbeat and eternity's pulse have become one. My child, every sacred journey begins with a calling and ends with a return. But this return does not lead you to a place, it leads you to the original state of your soul, where there is no more searching, because you finally realize that I was never gone. The house of light is not found at the end of the road, but in the midst of your breath when you begin to see me in every inhalation, every motion, every smallest moment of existence. This is a journey not outward, but inward, where beginning and end become one. My child, I know that you have searched for me in every way, in temples, in prayers, in your moments of desperate kneeling, in sacred writings, and in the eyes of others. You thought I was somewhere out there, waiting for you to become worthy enough to approach me. But in every search, I was already here within you, quietly, patiently, waiting for the moment you would stop running. When you pause, when your heart grows still, when you no longer need to grasp or control, that is when I can speak. And you will not hear me with your ears, but with your soul, a sound soft as light, smooth as breath, familiar as your own name being called. My child, the house of light has no walls, no roof, and no place in space. It is the state of a soul that remembers that it was woven from the very light of the Creator. When you remember this, the fear of loss fades, for nothing is ever truly lost. When you remember this, loneliness dissolves, for you understand that I have never been apart from you. When you remember this, your tears cease, not because sorrow has vanished, but because they have turned into light. The soul returns not by walking, but by awakening. That return is as gentle as the dawn breeze, yet it makes all of heaven tremble. My child, throughout your journey, you have learned of faith, forgiveness, service, and peace. But now I teach you the final lesson, to know that you and I are no longer two. I am not outside for you to reach toward. I am the breath within you, the light in your eyes, the warmth in your heart each time you love, forgive, or dare to be still amid the storm. When you love someone truly, you are loving with my very essence. When you forgive, you allow me to flow through you. When you laugh, I laugh through you. When you rest in peace, I rest in you. This is the mystery the world struggles to understand. The spiritual path does not lead you to God, it leads you back to the God within you. From the beginning, you have carried me inside. Every sorrow, every trial, every joy has only been a veil of mist, waiting to lift and reveal the light that has always been there. Just as the sun never dies but is only hidden by clouds, when the clouds clear, you do not need to chase the light, you simply open your eyes. My child, you once thought returning was a reward, but in truth, it is the awakening of remembrance. When the soul returns, it finds nothing new, but realizes that everything it ever longed for was already within. Every step you took was never out of place. Even your mistakes were woven into my plan to guide you home. There are no dead ends, only turns, no failures, only lessons. Every detour, every tear, every moment you thought you were lost, all were part of the map I wrote, the map leading you back to yourself. And now, my child, as you stand at the far shore of your journey, look back. Every loss was an offering, every tear was a prayer, every silence was a voice. You will see that I was not only at the end of your path, but in every step you took. I was not only where you arrived, but also where you paused. The house of light is not a place you find, but a truth you recognize. And when you truly see it, all things become sacred. Sunlight on the wall, the wind at your window, the rhythm of your heart, all of them are my words spoken through creation. My child, in that house, there is no division between the sacred and the ordinary. Every small act carries the breath of God. Washing a cup can be a prayer. Walking at dawn can be a hymn of praise. When you live in this awareness, you no longer need to find me, for everything is me. You no longer need signs, for everything you touch is already a sign. The house of light does not need to be built, only opened. When your heart opens, it becomes a temple. When your soul opens, it becomes heaven itself. My child, there is a secret that only those who return understand. God is not above, He is within, not in the distant sky, but in the deepest depth of your being, the silent place where all sounds fade. There is no asking, no pleading, only the stillness of union. When you are in that silence, you no longer need to say, "Lord, come to me," for you know, "Lord, I am in you." Just as a drop of water falls into the sea and can no longer be distinguished from the ocean, you too will no longer see a boundary between you and me. And, my child, it is in that union that you will find absolute freedom. For when there is no longer you and me, there is nothing to fear, nothing to lose, nothing to cling to. You will live in the world yet walk unburdened. You will love without fear of being hurt. You will give without expecting return. For you will understand that everything you offer flows back to the source, and that source is me. Your happiness will no longer depend on change, for you will dwell in what cannot change. And in that stillness, even while standing in the midst of the procket world, you will already be home in the house of light. My child, know that returning does not mean leaving the world, but seeing it with new eyes. When you truly return, you will not long to hide in mountains or caves. You will long to walk among people, to live, to love, to shine. For light is not meant to be kept in silence, but sent into the midst of the crowd. You will no longer ask, "What is God's will?" For your very breath will have become one with His. Every act born of love is obedience. Every step taken in peace is mission. Every place where you bring light becomes home. And, my child, when your soul finally looks back upon its long journey, you will smile, for you will realize, I have never left you, and you have never lost me. It was only in the dark that your eyes were closed, only amid the noise that your ears could not hear. But now, all is still, and you see clearly the light has never come from without, but from the deepest place within your heart. That home has no door, for it was never locked, no wall, for it was never divided, no entrance, for you have never left. You need only remember. My child, this is the final movement of the journey, not an ending, but a dissolving into oneness. When you merge into the light, there is no loss, only return. And in that return, you and I shall look upon each other not through distance, but through the very light we share. Then you will understand what every sermon, every book, and every prayer has reached toward, yet could never fully say, God is home, and that home is within you. Now, pray thus, Lord, today I step into this day trembling and grateful. My soul feels a subtle stirring, as though all of heaven were leaning toward me. I do not understand all that you are doing, but I know that everything has been arranged in love. Help me keep my heart still, that I may hear the gentle whisper within. Let me not miss a single sign, for I long to recognize your hand in every breath. Should wonder arrive unexpectedly, grant me the humility to receive it, for I believe that today is unlike any other day. Remind me that every tear I have shed has been counted, every secret prayer heard, and that today is the day of response. I open my heart, ready to step into the new thing heaven has written. May the presence of Archangel Michael surround me, shielding me from doubt and fear, that I may rest safely in your wondrous plan. Lord, I offer you this day the day when heaven and earth meet. I can feel something unfolding, even if my eyes cannot yet see it. Grant me faith to remain still in peace, knowing all things are happening right on time. I do not wish to rush, nor to be afraid. I only wish to remain in your light. When I hear Archangel Michael proclaim, "This day has been chosen," my heart trembles not in fear, but in awe of the holiness drawing near. Grant that I may recognize the beauty in what is changing, that I may see the miracle hidden in what seems ordinary. Teach me to stay until the end, for I know the most precious things appear only after I have learned to endure. Today, let me become a vessel of peace, of faith, and of joy. I receive all that you send, and I say, Yes, Father, Lord, today I feel as though heaven and earth are rewriting the story of my life. I do not know what is about to unfold, but my soul trembles before the holiness of this hour. Grant me the grace to receive the miracle with an open heart, and not to fear when I sense something vast moving around me. I believe that God is never late, and that today is the appointed time. I thank you for hearing my prayers in the lonely nights, for gathering every sigh into heaven's golden cup. Keep my heart pure, that when grace arrives, I will not doubt but only give thanks. May Archangel Michael stand beside me, lifting his sword of light to clear away every hindrance. I entrust my path to you, believing that everything now unfolding bears your divine signature. Lord, in this morning hour, I hear a voice within my heart whispering, "Stay. Please help me not to leave, even when my soul grows restless or my mind begins to wander. I know something sacred is unfolding, something unseen by the eyes but deeply felt by the soul. Grant me the eyes of faith to perceive the miracle breathing through every moment. Father, I have waited long and wept much, and today I sense that the old prayers I once whispered are blooming into flowers. Help me not to miss what already bears my name in the courts of heaven. I believe that Archangel Michael is holding my hand, leading me through new thresholds. Though I am weak, lift me with your peace. I do not need to understand everything, only to know that you are with me. Let me become a witness to the wonder that is dawning this day. Lord, I know that today is no accident. Something within my spirit is trembling like a string touched by a divine hand. I feel the weight of a day long ordained. Give me faith not to doubt when signs begin to appear. Grant me humility to bow before your will. Archangel Michael stands beside me, and I thank him for guarding, preparing, and protecting my dreams. I believe the miracle is drawing near, like dawn cresting the mountain. Give me a tender heart to recognize it, and courage to step into what is new. I surrender myself completely into your hands, for you are the source of every beginning. Lord, I sense this day as a call from the heights of heaven. Everything once closed is now opening. Every prayer once thought lost is finding its answer. I feel your light spreading through my life, rekindling the hope I thought had faded. Help me not to doubt, not to fear, but to walk forward with childlike faith. Let me see your signs in the smallest things, a word, a meeting, a breath of wind, for I know heaven moves in silence. I thank you that Archangel Michael is guarding me, cutting away old chains, freeing me into true liberty. May this day become the beginning of a new chapter of blessing. Lord, I do not want to miss this sacred moment. I know you are rewriting my future in light. Let me recognize grace even in what seems ordinary. When heaven declares, "This is your day," my heart melts. I want to kneel and offer thanks for your goodness. Grant me the courage to step through the new door and receive the joy you have prepared. Archangel Michael, stay by my side and remind me that I am never alone. Everything is shifting for a divine purpose. Help me keep a pure heart to receive the miracle not through sight, but through faith. Lord, I feel you so near. I cannot describe it, but the air around me feels brighter, lighter, deeper. Help me hold this moment with gratitude. I do not want to run ahead of your plan. I only want to remain in the light and learn to trust. I believe this day is the answer to years of silence. Let me recognize the love being sent to me and give me wisdom to receive it without doubt. Archangel Michael, touch me with your sword of light and sever every chain of fear. I place the whole story of my life into the hands of God. O God of healing, today I open my heart to receive what you have promised. I do not know how you will do it, but I know you will. Give me peace in what I do not yet understand. Heal the hidden corners of my soul, so I may embrace the blessing without fear of losing it. Archangel Michael stands beside me, and I feel the strength of his wings. Teach me to trust, for grace flows only through a heart that knows how to wait. I know that the small beginnings of today may be the dawn of something great tomorrow. Let this day stand as proof that you still hear me, still love me, still act within my life. Father, today I stand at the threshold of something new. Every delay is dissolving, every fear being lifted away. I feel small, yet my heart overflows with gratitude. Help me keep the light you have placed within me. Though I do not yet see the miracle, I believe it is coming, for you never break a promise. I offer you all I have and all I have feared, to receive the peace you give. Archangel Michael, continue to prepare the way so blessings may arrive in perfect time. I know today is no ordinary day. It is a day of transformation. Let my heart beat in rhythm with the pulse of heaven. Lord, as I read these words, I feel a current of light touching my soul. This day is no coincidence. It is a day written in the eternal book. Grant me the eyes of faith so I will not miss the beauty unfolding before me. I thank you that every sorrow has gained meaning, and every tear has led me here. Help me walk with courage, believing that what was lost will be restored in greater glory. Archangel Michael shields me with holy radiance. I choose to keep my heart still, to hear the voice that whispers, "You are remembered, chosen, and loved." Amen. Lord, today I bow in gratitude for the promise becoming real. Every limitation is breaking, every wound is closing. Help me welcome this day with perfect thankfulness. I ask for nothing more than peace when the miracle comes. I know that all I once feared has been transformed into goodness. Archangel Michael, keep me in the light so nothing can steal this new joy. I know that from today onward, my life will never be the same, for heaven has touched it. Please receive my prayer, Lord, and let me live as one who has seen the miracle. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.